taking over, that's a promise, not a threat.
Uppercut season off top, you stop breathing.
Nothing else been going on in boxing. I mean, nothing's going on in boxing.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Nah, there's some fuckery afoot.
Oh yeah, they did.
I mean, what y'all want to do? Which fuckery y'all want to tackle first? Because this is it's two-fisted fuckery. It's like
I mean, let's do let's do the one involving the 90-year-old senile man.
Ooh, old man fuckery. Hold on.
Yes.
Old man fuckery. We doing that? All right, let's go. Pack. I mean, spit your bars. I mean, you know I got shit to say, but
yeah,
like,
you know, I'll say this.
I want like a second verse or a third verse on this. Like y'all niggas can get it popping.
I'll open it up, man. So I mean, obviously, unless you've been living under a fucking rock, you know, one Terence Crawford, the reigning WBO welterweight champion of the world, you know, has decided to sue Top Rank, you know, and it's just like. Now, this came out of fucking nowhere, because usually when niggas are done with Bob, niggas are like, okay, fuck, you know, I'm done with Bob, and they don't re-up, fuck it, let me see what my other options are, you know.
Shit, no, let me take it a step further. When I'm used to when seeing niggas leave Bob, they get tangled up in some fucking court order and we can't see them fight for a fucking year and a half.
Or they just go to PBC and start beating up all the welterweights.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean,
Pacquiao.
Yeah, I think it depends on the contracts. I mean, Pacquiao was able to.
Your contract has to be completely done. That's what it is. A lot of these niggas, they'll have a fight left or a time left. Like, you have to be done with Bob Arum and them in order to sue them or do whatever you want afterward. You can't.
Buy yourself
have
out
fights
of your
on the contract.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, not everyone was like Miguel Cotto, who pretty much, you know, he put his contract and then move on, do some other shit, and then come back to Top Rank, shit like that. You know, that, you know, some fighters were ironclad. Like Floyd had to buy himself out of his contract.
That was the whole corrupt going back to death rows for me.
Yeah, and on a lesser scale, Andy Ruiz had to buy himself out of his contract, and PBC bought his contract out. You know, some shit like that. You know, it varies. You know, and then Mikey Garcia left before his contract was up, and then got tangled in courts for a couple.
He was sidelined for years. We missed out on fights, and instead we seen him spar motherfuckers wearing jeans on damn Ellie Setback videos and shit. Like,
yeah, or you have Chavez Jr., who pretty much, you know, once Bob got rid of him once he couldn't milk him anymore. Pause. You know, so. It all varies, but in this situation,
man, but Chavez Jr., it just seemed like the boxing gods show him favor, because no matter what situation he gets, no matter what loss, what fuckery, there's always some type of a lifeline, decent fight for him to crawl his way back into relevancy. So yeah, you know, I don't know. Chavez is a special case, because now they talking about a Jake Paul fight for Chavez, and I'm just like, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, I just ignore everything regarding Chavez.
Yeah, like Chavez, he did it for a lot of people, but like the Jake Paul fight is different, because you got people you got boxing fans might legit root for Chavez for like the first time since, like, I don't know, the Centron fight.
Probably.
With Andy Lee, like, I don't know, like, we got to go back here.
Yeah, but then with Terence, unfortunately, Terence Crawford does not have this, because, you know, unfortunately, during his whole reign with Top Rank, you know, dude was pretty much, you know, he was supposed to be like, you know, he was always played the background, or Bob always wanted him to play the background, even though dude has powerful round talent. Like, dude is clearly one of the best fighters in the whole world, probably the best American fighter on the planet. Like, that's not, I mean, there's no.
And he low key solidified that with the Porter win. So if you was one of those niggas like me who was damn questioning everything he did and just giving him the side eye because of the competition, you kind of gotta slow up a little bit because of the Porter win. So
right, and then you, like I said, I mean, dude, but then unfortunately, dude never got the type of marquee fights he went. Now 135, you know, he fought who he had to fight 135, and that's cool. You know, 140 he unified, but unfortunately he unified against someone most people don't take too seriously, even no matter the accomplishment. So once that was done, he went to welterweight, and everyone knows welterweights is where, you know, pretty much where all the big boys are in terms of, you know, you have your Pacquiao, of course.
Where the big boys play.
Yeah, like WCW back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously everyone was looking forward for a Pacquiao Crawford fight. But obviously for whatever reason, you know, Bob was like, no, we're not gonna.
I killed it.
Yeah. Bob was guilty as charged for not making that shit happen. You know, and unfortunately what happened is, you know, Pacquiao eventually got, you know, when his contract was up, he didn't resign. So, you know, he got the Bob Arum treatment in Australia. You know?
Hold on, wait. Let's not act like after the Postall fight, Crawford bored everyone to sleep for the Postall fight. And then he couldn't even properly call out Pacquiao. He wanted him to come to 140, all that shit.
But then Crawford went to his
Crawford kind of fumbled that himself a little bit. I'm still blaming Bud. I'm still blaming Bob. But Crawford ain't do himself no favors. But all the other fights and opponents, I think Bob had way more to do with that than Crawford himself.
Well, I will say this though, in the Postall win, no matter what people think about that win aged the best, considering considering no one has knocked out Postall yet, and Postall has given a lot of fighters hell afterwards.
Ramirez, but that's it. Like, no one's gonna sit here and count the damn Josh Taylor fight.
Yes, I will.
No, we're not.
I said it. I said it when it was live.
Josh Taylor was a fucking prospect, son.
It doesn't matter. Taylor and Ramirez both got both got put through hell. Taylor
beat the man clearly though.
Yeah,
as
Taylor got together near the end because but Ramirez never did, and Ramirez is.
I'm saying you can't put Taylor. Taylor don't belong in that comparison. That's
either way, Crawford beat his ass better than Taylor and Ramirez.
Dude was already a fucking pound for pound.
Matter.
He's supposed to beat Postall. Y'all niggas try to make Postall into a better fighter than what he is.
Yeah, like
Postall is not that fucking good, and the fact that people past Crawford have struggled with them is a detriment is an indictment on them, not a fucking a praise for Postall. No, we're not gonna do that. I'm sorry, I've never seen.
Yeah, Postall is not. Yeah, thank you exactly.
Well, either way, Crawford was the one who actually beat his ass. Like,
as he should have.
Taylor, it took a little bit too long, and Ramirez never did.
So, that's like comparing the same Casame Rivera saying he fought Zab, like comparing his performance against Zab and Berto when he fought Zab when Zab was already a champion level, and he fought Berto. Berto's like a borderline prospect. He's gonna have more experience than one of those guys. He's gonna have it. You know what I mean? There's a difference. So yeah, I agree with King P. We're not gonna turn Postall, the fucking great value Vladimir Klitschko. We're not gonna turn him into some great fighter to placate you goddamn Crawford fans.
And I'm not saying great fighter, but he's a difficult fighter. I mean, he is a good fighter. He's not great.
Yeah, I mean, he's solid. He's good. But I mean, don't tell me he's your best win if you're going into the Hall of Fame.
Well, no, I don't think he's his best win, but
there's plenty of people who would say he's Bud's best win. Or he's up there, like, that shit changes now with the Porter fight, but before that, you had people legit saying that he's some best win for fucking Crawford.
Yeah, but
God! Like,
the only thing is that win aged well. That win aged. It did age well. It wasn't like it was a struggle fucking way. It aged well considering what Postall continued to do afterwards. But
it aged moderately well. I'll give you that. Can we all agree on that? That we can move forward?
Yeah, yes, it definitely didn't get. But I digress. But with Crawford though, once he entered the welterweight division, he's bodied everybody he's fought at welterweight. But unfortunately, like I said, like everyone's like, okay, where's the Pacquiao fight? And then after that, it's like, we want to see him against Spence. We want to see him against Keith Thurman. We want these type of fights. And
anybody at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So unfortunately, and then of course, like I said, Pacquiao was taken away from him. So I mean, all he could do was knock people out, and then people were giving him grief. The Mean Machine fighters when the Boo Birds.
Career mode glitch.
Yeah, Mean P was there for that fight. Even though people were cheering near the end of the fight though, but everyone was the criticisms got a little louder after that one. So it's just like Crawford. And then Crawford, he did originally re-sign back in 2018 with Bob, and most people thought, that was probably the biggest mistake of his career. You know?
Yeah, and for all the people who said, "Oh, y'all niggas just hating," that was a no. Like, where's our apology? Like, I mean, I told you so. Like, what did Crawford gain in the sport of boxing by re-signing the top rank? All it did was keep him at the top of the pound for pound list. It kept his stature, and he made some paydays for some easy fights, but nothing else really happened, right? Like,
right, you know,
until Khan and fucking Brook, like,
yeah. There were
narrative talking about people would have said, "Well, you ain't fight Brook." No one was asking for a fucking Kell Brook fight.
Right, yeah, that was, and that's another thing that Bob is notorious for, making the fights that niggas don't want to see. Like when we say, "Hey, we want to see this fight," and like, "Oh,
and paying them more than they should." You're gonna give Khan $5 million. You're gonna give Brook $3 million. Oh, but Terence Crawford versus Keith Thurman. Oh, Keith, should get $1 million. Fuck out of here.
And then on top of that, in the more recent time, you got Teofimo Lopez, who, because he didn't like what Top Rank wanted to pay him for his maiden title defense, decided to go hit the purse bid, and obviously the fuckery, but in the end, Teofimo got what he wanted, but in the process, guys, titles took away. Yeah. Bob,
it was a loss for Top Rank and Teofimo, like all because. Top Rank doesn't really promote and pay fighters and just to get to
unless you're Lomachenko or Nico Ali Walsh or
or Nico Ali Walsh, but just to get to the case of the I guess Crawford's case is basically he's claiming racism has limited his success.
It's not just that. People are zoning in on that, but there's way more than that. That's just one portion.
Yeah, well, of course. I believe racism is a factor in it, but I also feel like it's
not racism.
Bad business.
First off, let's make this clear. I just want to make this clear. I keep seeing this. It's not. He never said racism. It's racial bias, which is very different than racism. I want people to understand that because it's not the fucking
racial bias to me. Like, and most people gonna look at that as racism.
Mm-hmm. But it's not. Like I get it.
To you, but if it's happening to you and you're experiencing it, you're gonna say it's racism. It's presented to you within a systematic way.
Fair point. I'm just saying that they're technically not the same. They're technically not the same.
Technically, yes. Okay, you're right, but you're gonna experience it as racism, though. You're not gonna fucking if you're going through what Bud is going through, or anybody, or Elvin Rodriguez for instance, because he lost a close fucking decision type of fight where he didn't even look all that bad. He was competitive. He gets dropped in a heartbeat.
Yeah, they didn't like his manager and all that. They had a lot of.
But then you see a guy like Josu Vargas get destroyed in one round. In a fight he was supposed to win.
Yeah.
And you didn't hear nothing about him being dropped. Shit, how many times Verdejo then got destroyed and he's still hanging around on Top Rank.
Yeah, well, basically, Verdejo had to commit murder in order for a Top Rank to had to remove.
Exactly. So you got motherfuckers who have to murder someone in order to get dropped from Top Rank, where a black person or someone who has Afrocentric or black ethnic traits or characteristics, whatever the fuck you want to. Someone who
they don't know how to market a Dominican, especially a black Dominican. Like,
but see that's the thing. Like, so if you're the manager of Elvin Rodriguez, or if you're Elvin Rodriguez, you're looking at it as racism. You're experienced racism. You're not gonna sit there and tell somebody, well, I think them niggas that practice racial bias against me. Nah, you gonna be like, man, these motherfuckers are racist as hell, man. My nigga lost a close fight. They dropped him, and this other dude right here, he don't even get dropped, and he got knocked out in the first round. And then this one motherfucker over here, him over in the corner, that nigga, he had to kill somebody before he got dropped, and he done lost twice already.
Yeah, and in this particular case, Terence is, he is suing Top Rank for the breach of contract and claiming racial bias, because in this one, it claims, I think the big thing to focus on is, Bob was basically supposed to get him a fight within a certain, within the certain year, which didn't manifest. So he was supposed to pay up for that.
Negligent representation as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, that's definitely, and I honestly
proved that
too.
That was the easy one to stick. That one is the most easy one for that charge to stick, because all you have to do is pull up like fucking 5 different videos of Aram, like, well, Crawford's losing me money. I don't need him. He could leave. You know what I'm saying? I could have built a house with all the bricks I caught off of Crawford
in Bel Air or this, that, or Beverly Hills Mansion.
Yeah, exactly.
But see, that's the thing. You could prove all this shit that Crawford's saying. You could legitimately prove everything, even the racial elements. The racial elements is just the shit, is the buzzword.
And it's funny because like now I'm seeing everybody come to Bob's defense, and then this one made me laugh because I posted it the other day, was fucking Timothy Bradley coming into his defense. It's going, I never experienced racism or anything like that, and I'm just like, I just posted a fucking article of his pay-per-view sales when he rematched Pacquiao, and they fought. The sales were lower than the first time. And they asked Bob, why do you think the sales were lower? It's because Pacquiao didn't fight a Hispanic opponent. So, Timothy, like, if you would have put a Mexican in there with Pacquiao, if he would have done at least $1 million. Timothy is a great fighter, but he's not Hispanic. And we did whatever we could to just energize the black community, but didn't work. Like, what did you do? What did you do? What did you do to energize the black community? I still would like to know that, because now you're basically blaming black people for not buying it.
Because I don't remember this whole energizing movement of the black community in that era.
Let's put it this way.
When that happened?
Let's put it this way. Bob is still living off the fact that he formed Top Rank, and Muhammad Ali was his first fighter, and Muhammad Ali is Muhammad Ali. So pretty much after that, it's just pretty much anything, like no fighter Bob has ever dealt with was ever bigger than Muhammad Ali in his prime.
And Bob even admitted that he was out of fucking touch with the new generation, because he even said when he owned up to it when Floyd, when he had Floyd. Floyd was asking him, to promote him more to the black audiences, and he was like, I have no problem doing that, because I promoted Muhammad Ali and George Foreman and all that. But then I realized, he wanted me to promote him, to the hip hop crowd, and I didn't know how to do that because that's not my crowd. Right. So he admitted it.
Ask somebody, like, you're one of the biggest promotional entities in the world. Like, y'all can't hire new people. Y'all can't do some research and develop strategies. Like, and even then, if that happened back in Floyd's time, like, you mean to tell me you haven't learned since then? It's just the whole, like, honestly, Top Rank is just saying, like, we don't really know how to deal with black fighters, so you just take what you can get from
and that's why you have the situation where you have a fight like Jamel Herring versus Shakur Stevenson, which should be in New York and New Jersey. But we'll just put it in Atlanta because Tank sold in Atlanta.
Yeah, that type of shit. And it's just like, like monkey see, monkey do type of shit. Like, what the fuck?
Like, honestly, Bob Abrams and them, Top Rank, they've made Terence Crawford's case for him. That's why it just astounds me when people act like Crawford is doing the wrong thing. Like, he doesn't have a legit case. Like, we done said so many instances of there been racism or racial bias, whatever the fuck you want to call it. The racial bias could be anytime there's a black fighter and his opponent is Hispanic or European, the black fighter the darker fighter gets slighted.
Yeah,
and you don't have to necessarily be African American, like the Regan-Dow Daenerys situation.
If it doesn't even black American, like any if you're noticeably like black Hispanic, anything like that. In the Rigo situation is probably the best example.
Regan-Dow is the nigga in that situation. Even though he's not black or African American, or whatever the fuck you want to, he's the black person in that situation. So even though Daenerys, Philippine, he's still a minority or whatever you say.
He's still Asian, or it depends how you want to do it.
Even
Asian,
though he's Asian, he's gonna still be the dominant thing to promote in that fight, or for Aaron, because he's familiar with the Filipino market and some Asians. I'm not even going, because we're gonna get to Monster.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other story in and
But
of itself.
Pacquiao already laid the foundation for promotion in the Philippines. So that's no problem for Aaron. But for Rigendale, oh nah. Fighting with Daenerys, you're the nigga in this situation. I don't know what to do with this guy.
Yeah, and unfortunately, unfortunately, the worst thing is Ringo beating Daenerys. Yes, it was not the greatest.
That too, now, but you could say
the apple cart.
You could say that. Oh well, Rigendale's boring. That's why it happened. Okay, we'll give you that. We'll give you that. That's why I'm gonna hit you with the next fucking example. Juan Manuel Lopez and Gamboa.
Right.
See, now you can't use that boring excuse, because Gamboa was legitimately one of the most exciting fighters of his time.
And so was Wanma. Yeah, both.
So now you can't even say this boring shit about the darker person. And now, if you remember how that shit played out, it always seemed like there was an extra fight being thrown in front of these two instead of making that fight. It was the whole marinated. They was beating every guy they had to beat. And Wanma was already having some close calls.
Very, very much so. And then he run, and then
it was time to make the fucking fight. But to slight Gamboa, they never ended up making the fight on time. Lopez ends up fighting Salido in 2 classics, but it wasn't a fight that moved. It wasn't the fight that was going to move boxing forward like it would have with Gamboa.
And it ended up ruining Wanma to the point of no return. So
and kept Salido more relevant.
And ruined Gamboa's career. Fuck
yeah.
Now that I think about it.
and honestly, it low key did ruin Gam. Honestly, out of those 3 fighters, Salido stayed more relevant.
Made out the best. Salido made out the best. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would have? Yeah, Salido made out the best. And honestly, you might say he might rank higher all time.
He does. Like, hey, there's no way.
Now he got 2 wins over Wanma.
And then of course he has the Lomachenko win, so it's like
the Lomachenko win, and he got some other good wins.
He beat the shit. Honestly, he beat the shit out of. We forget he beat the shit out of Guerrero.
Yes, and they reversed that shit. So just look at the ramifications when you have racial bias. You alter boxing on some metaverse shit, multiverse shit, where Salido becomes a higher ranked guy than 2 motherfuckers that was supposed to fight who was looking like blue chip fighters prospects.
Right. Yeah, and Top Rank has had so many, boo-boos, and like I said, and this one's so prominent because, like I said, Terence Crawford is a top pound for pound, like, dude is arguably like top 3 if you want to say like in the world, like, and what are you doing? Like, you couldn't get him a big fight, so yeah, he wants his money. Like, you're supposed to provide him money. You want this money. Like, yeah, I mean, you put all this effort into marketing Nico Ali Walsh, who has not an amateur career to speak of, but because of the lone fact that he's a direct bloodline of Muhammad Ali, who pretty much without Ali, there's no there's no Top Rank. You put all your marketing energy. Like, Nico Ali Walsh was on Good Morning America, for crying out fucking loud, and he hasn't done a motherfucking thing. And yet Terence Crawford does. I didn't see Crawford on no type of TV show after he knocked out Porter. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
Porter needed to be on a Cambosis type of media run after the Porter win.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, Cambosis
he was nowhere to be found. Like, he was only on podcasts.
Yeah, and it's like, and plus they downplay like his victory. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, like, well, the pay-per-view figures weren't that good. That's literally like
we know why.
ESPN Plus. Oh my fucking god! You put it on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, now ESPN Plus is a good service, but for the fact that it wasn't available on its regular cable. ESPN has a pay-per-view service, Like they do, there's ESPN pay-per-view, but then you have people upon ESPN. Now ESPN Plus is if your internet connection is not where it needs to be, it's problems. And then on top of that, ESPN Plus is not. This is something that they have to
subscribe to first, and then you got to order it. It's just there's too
much
steps
fuckery to get there.
Too much steps, and most niggas is like, they're like, I don't want to go through all that. Like,
and just for one fight, because y'all didn't stack the undercard and y'all didn't make it seem where it was like a boxing event that you can't miss. Y'all really just based it off of one fight. So if somebody was like, it's just one fight, fuck it, I'll find out about it later. But if it was a full event, then niggas is like, they might try harder. But even then, you still made it too hard to even get into. So it's like y'all made multiple mistakes. Then y'all didn't promote it on top of that.
Hell no, they didn't.
I knew they wasn't gonna stack that undercard because they spent all the money on the main event. Like, and that's the shit that bothers me. Let me say that you got people that are coming to Aram's defense of the Crawford made all this money. He made $6 million against Porter. He made all this. They try to act like Bob's such a gracious man that he's just giving money out of the goodness of his heart. Motherfucker, Crawford earned that money. Like, get the fuck out.
He earned the money. Like, he was paying. Crawford was making money, was making good money, and I think that's kind of what motivated Crawford to sign. But I think it was short-sighted in the sense where he probably really believed Bob Arum could get him those great fights on the second go around.
Let's be honest. And I truly believe this, that one of the main reasons Top Rank got that ESPN deal was because of Crawford. And Crawford still to this day,
of course.
And Crawford to this day is still the only Top Rank fighter in a while to sell out the main room of Madison Square Garden. That's not happening. Everybody else has to sell out the Hulu Theater. They're not going to sell out the main room. Crawford sells out the main fucking room.
Yeah,
that's facts. That's absolutely.
Crawford definitely one of those driving factors of getting that ESPN deal. Like, definitely. Don't give me this fucking Lomachenko shit. Don't give me the Tyson Fury shit. None of that shit. Like, Crawford was the proven commodity.
Now, if you try to bring up Tyson Fury, all I have to do is, okay, did people really buy or watch the Wallin fight and the Schwartz fight? Hell fucking no. If Fury's name wasn't attached to Wilder, nobody gave a fuck. Nobody gave a flying fuck.
Not even Fury too. Like I said, because it was only until Fury did what he did to Wilder in the first fight. That's when Bob was like, okay, let me get this.
Because that whole year, Fury was really trying to just build his brand, which he did, because all the over the top performances and shit in the Wallin and the Schwartz fights, the coming into the ring, all the singing and the outfits, and then going to I think he did a wrestling show. Like,
yeah, he did some work for the WWE.
Yeah, Fury's a showman, so he used that opportunity.
Fury did what he was supposed to do, basically. But the thing is, I feel like Crawford is out there. He's out there. He does what he does, but you can't really put it on Crawford as far as like to do more when we see Top Rank do more for Ali.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like they do.
It's like we can't use that excuse no more for people.
Yeah, it's like, Nico Ali was, and like I said, Nico Ali is a good kid, but unfortunately, like I said, and this is what's going to probably end up killing Nico Wash's career too. Like, it's basically he's not ready for the type of marketing that Bob is giving him. He's not.
Imagine what Crawford's career would be if Bob marketed him like that.
Yeah.
So honestly, to me, I think, like, I'm gonna just fucking say it. Like, if you don't think like Crawford doesn't have a case, or if you like really mad at him, upset for bringing this about, like, it just comes off on some coon shit, man. Like,
I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real. It's funny. It's funny to me because it's showing what I've known the whole time, and now basically people have shown their ass. Most people didn't really give a fuck about Crawford. Most of these top-ranked groupies, these stans, they didn't give a fuck about Crawford. They used Crawford as a shield against Spence and PBC because he was the good guy. He's our good guy. That's how I look at it. It's like, he might be a Negro, but he's our Negro. And now that he's suing, now it's like, fuck you, you're just a Negro. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I don't keep seeing that. You see that? Bring up the poll, my nigga.
Yeah, like so. Yeah, some of the boxing media, like some of them niggas is like, well, Bob's not. It's just like Bob's like this. Where's all this energy before? Yeah, it's like they switch them. Like I'm not hearing no type of support for Crawford. Like there's more. Yeah, that's more discussed. There's more support for Top Rank and Bob than Crawford.
Like there isn't like hundreds of examples of them doing this shit. Like, and just even if you want to take the racial bias, racism out of it, just bad business. Fucking justifying paying Khan 5 to 7 mil, and this is like 2019 Khan. Like,
yeah, 2019 Khan. Yeah,
this is Khan that already been
years. Like a good.
This the Khan that got destroyed multiple times. When you justify paying him that much money, but then when we're like, okay, I think Danny Garcia could deserve 4 mil, Broner deserved 4 mil, these other guys, Porter deserves more money, Thurman deserves 4 mil. When we're seeing all these guys deserve more money, and they're more relevant, less washed up than Khan, and then you're talking it down, that's just bad business.
Right. It really
when we could look at other fighters that have no ethnic group that's black in the fight, and we could tell that there's some type of racial bias, that's bad. When I see that you're favoring Jose Ramirez, you're showing favoritism to Jose Ramirez over Josh Taylor, that's bad. There's no black person in that matchup. Right. But y'all can't tell me that Top Rank wasn't favoring Ramirez in that fight.
Oh, they were. Like, look at the fucking scores. 114, 112. Are you kidding me? Like, there was
come on, a fight that had 2 knockdowns.
Yeah, the
fix was in.
Like, there was
even one of the knockdowns, it looked like he could have stopped. Like,
yeah. Like that shit was almost a unanimous draw because they want Top Rank one of their 2 champions. But yeah,
a draw now, and we would have been sitting here like, God damn, now that would have been a draw that we would have easily been like, nah, that was a robbery draw.
Yeah,
like,
there was no unanimous draw. Like without those 2 knockdowns, that's what it would have been. Like that would have been like, you gotta get the fuck out of here with that.
And it's funny, like that's why we say now all draws are the same.
Exactly. So
the draw from Castaño, Jamel Charlo really looked like it could have been, all right, it was in the realm of possibility. But Taylor Ramirez, like, there was a point or 2 from being a draw, and we're like, there's no way that fight could have been a draw.
All draws are not created equal.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, and look how they promote Monster. Oh, I say, look at the lack of promoting.
Yeah, I should say.
Like, or I see posters with fucking Godzilla on it. Like, how corny and unoriginal can you be? Boo, lame, tomato, throw tomatoes at you.
Yeah, like, I mean, Top Rank signed Monster after Monster pretty much, solidified, solidifies it with new career heights and everything. Like, dude had now the pandemic, I admit, kind of screwed things up a little bit. But Monster still managed to get. At least he got the Maloney fight. That was a good fight to introduce him to. But then after that, what do we do? What are we talking about for Monster? Like, what are we doing? Like, Monster is one of the again top 3 fighter in the world. What is he doing? His last fight wasn't even mentioned on Top Rank. Barely mentioned at all. Not even on Top Rank television. Like, none of that shit.
And that's why I didn't take him off my top 2 pound for pound, because I'm not gonna blame him for the stupidity of Top Rank. That's not his fault. That's a fucking Bob Arum problem.
Yeah, that's a Bob Arum fault. Like, he lost. That's why I said I had a tweet like that. Like Monster may as well follow the Crawford wave and see what's up, because shit, I don't think Bob knows how to promote Asians other than damn Pacquiao and
Filipinos.
You saw where that ended.
Yeah, if you're Filipino, you're always gonna get a mention. That's you always get some mention. Oh, he's Filipino. Okay, yeah. So yeah, he might be related to Pacquiao somehow. We'll market him somehow as a Pacquiao type of fighter or Pacquiao protege or some shit like that.
But if you're anything else, then good luck.
Yeah, especially black. Unless of course, if you're black and if you don't have no relation to Muhammad Ali, then yeah, it's a crap.
Yeah.
or maybe even George Foreman, but no one from the George Foreman lineage has actually made it to that type of level yet. But now that we have an Ali,
but Bradley's the only one that top rank that the only black fighter you could say top rank did good by, and even then they still shitted on him with the whole he wasn't Mexican or Hispanic or Latino, so his Pacquiao fights aren't gonna do much. Like, do you want somebody promoting you like that?
Well, the funny thing is that even though even with the Pacquiao fights, like some of the fights that Timmy did actually get, like either you have because he was putting some bullshit though. I mean for crying out loud.
I guess
the Casamayor was a bullshit fight.
Yeah,
I guess Timmy forgot that
fight.
I guess Timmy forgot that they blocked him from even because remember the bullshit that they did when they wanted to give him the Pacquiao rematch. He had to sign an extension for that, and if he didn't sign it, he wasn't going to get the fight because they didn't want.
Because on top of that, because I think that's the time when they were talking about Timmy Floyd, and Floyd was like, you beat Pacquiao, you got your belt, we can talk, whatever. So pretty much Timmy does not have the knockout power to actually beat Pacquiao. So it was like
or Floyd.
Or Floyd, but at least the Floyd one would have gotten him probably a payday. Yeah, but in the only way he was going to escape that was he had to knock out Manny Pacquiao or get a draw or something like that nature. Either way, Bob was not gonna let him escape with that welterweight title if he didn't resign. There was no way.
And that's just it. Just comes. We just look at Top Rank. It just feels like a place where they're good to develop you to a certain extent, but once your contract runs out with them, that's it.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely.
Use the knowledge you've acquired, use the connections, everything use it to run your own career or go somewhere else. Because if you don't have the complexion rights, or you don't have certain privilege, and it's crazy because every ethnic group that we mentioned has been slighted, has something to say. So it's not like we even just saying just all black fighters.
Right, yeah. Oscar pretty much. Oscar was signed to Bob. You know what I'm saying? Golden Boy. Yeah, and pretty much is to the point that Golden Boy is the. Top Rank did birth Golden Boy. Golden Boy.
Because you can see who gets affected by their racial bias or their ineptitude. Monster's not black or white, and he's Asian, and he's getting fucked over right now.
Absolutely.
Damn, how come Gamboa never could get into a big fight where it was an even matchup? He was pretty much fed to Crawford.
Yeah, it was pretty much once. And Gamboa did have the issues with this, PEDs and shit like that. He was,
But still, how come we never got a Brandon Rios Gamboa fight?
That was because they offered him that fight when they knew he was already out the door because he was doing some bullshit, so that Arum could say, "Oh well, he ducked Rios." Nobody we don't that Rios fight wasn't what we wanted at the time. It was some bullshit. It would have been a good fight, but come on, you fucked him over. Now you just want to throw that out so you can give him the out to say, "Oh well, he left Top Rank because he wanted to avoid Brandon Rios and shit." Nah, get the fuck out.
And I don't even believe that because Gamboa was fighting everybody.
Yeah, pretty much, and I think Rios too. Rios, Rios. He had some doozies, man. And stuff there was a lot of things because when Rios just started going off the rails, Rios. Rios of Brill is probably one of the worst robberies I've ever seen in my life. And Top Rank, and Brill, it's not. It wasn't time for Brill to be a champion. So they fucked him big time.
It's like Top Rank, and then the other thing in the case that Bradley mentioned was the whole how they disparage Al Heyman.
Yeah, they do.
That has some legs on it as well. It's just a whole bunch of shit, man.
Crawford pretty much has a lot of. He based on his own experiences and other past experiences to prove. Now, like I said, what the consequence? No, the consequences are, like I said, there shouldn't be any consequence because, like I said, he's not signed to Top Rank. He doesn't have anything that says he's bound to Top Rank anymore. He can move out as he please, but it's just now he wants the compensation for some of the shit that just never came to pass, and he has more than enough to actually prove racial bias in this situation, like racial bias and how they fucked it. Because like I said, because they fucked up his career too much to the point where he should be a lot bigger than he is.
And what if they get a discovery going, or he's able to get some interrogatories against other fighters, and they get to speak on his behalf and speak on their own situations with that they've had Top Rank. You don't think that could have ramifications for Top Rank?
Yeah, but the fun thing is, I don't think anything like right now. Like a lot of the black fighters that are signed to Top Rank ain't saying a goddamn thing.
They don't have to go to the Rigondeaux, go to the Gamboas. Go to the Elvis Rodriguez manager. Go to him. All I'm saying is, like, it's not a good look for Top Rank. I feel like they should probably settle with Crawford, because if this gets legs and keeps going out there longer, it's gonna look worse. But I salute Crawford. He's doing a great thing for boxing, and I'm probably one of the people who criticize him the most. But this is like amazing shit he's doing, because someone needs to stand up for themselves and change the landscape of boxing, especially for black fighters that get fucked over by some of these promotional agencies and companies and shit. And
right,
we need a fucking change, man. Like, you shouldn't be pound for pound at the top, whatever, and you shouldn't have to go through Crawford's situation for years. Like, nah, it's not a good look, and it'll make other black boxers, young fighters, kind of look at like, well, damn, do I really want to go to Top Rank if this is what could happen?
Yeah, and that's the thing too.
I think you're gonna see more people do like what Spence did, because Spence even said, like, Bob Arum tried to sign him when he was coming up. He tried to give him a big signing bonus, but he's like, no, I'm a bet on myself, and he made the right decision ultimately. So, it was just a little slow in the beginning, but a lot of these guys, you gotta have patience.
Right, you gotta have plenty of patience, but another thing too, Bob does sign a lot of young black talent. He signs more than anyone else in any other major boxing promotion.
And it's like, that's cool, but it's like, who are you making? You're not making these black talents into superstars. You're not. It's like you fumbling them when they get to a certain point in their career.
Mm-hmm. Now, the only person that's fumbled black fighters worse is fucking Oscar, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, exactly. But like, Bob Arum seems to be doing it by higher quantity. It's almost to the point where, is it even a good thing that he's signing all these young black fighters? It's just like when people talking about adoption, like when you see how, like, I'm not saying every black kid adopted by a white parent gets fucked up or molested or raped or some crazy shit. Cause you got some people out there who get treated well and they're cool and they become productive citizens. But we've seen black kids are just, made into weirdos or abused or some bullshit being adopted by white parents. Even though you're looking at like, well, damn, I'm glad these kids are getting a home. When you see the high percentage of them getting fucked over by going to a certain parent, you kind of wonder, like, is it even worth it? Mm-hmm. Is it even worth him Top Rank signing all these young black talents when in the end you're gonna just treat them like fucking Gamboa and Crawford and Inoue and Peterson brothers, and the list goes on. If no one's going to become the next Ali or the next, well, let me see, who else y'all promoted that great like that? Ali, like,
like Ali's probably like, he's the only example of a young, not only a young prospect and a fighter that he's actually put any type of money behind, any type of market.
But it's not just the money. They paid Crawford good too, but they paid him like a guy who they couldn't get good fights for, which evidently
they overcompensate. They overcompensated for not being able to give him good fights and promoting him well. You're damn right. He should get the money he got.
Thank you. Yeah, King P said it better. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, y'all rather pay him $4 million and his opponent $300K than to pay Crawford fucking $5 million and his opponent $2 million and get the better fight.
Right.
And essentially that's what y'all did to Crawford. And who cares if y'all signing all these other young black kids if you're gonna end up doing that to them too? So you're not growing the sport. You're making a lot of lateral moves.
Right. And Top Rank, and like I said, Top Rank in terms of, tops with Bob Arum. Like, Bob Arum is not gonna. Bob Arum is not. He's not gonna be there forever. So Top Rank is gonna really has to try to correct, how they market their fighters.
It'll be up to Todd. It'll be up to Todd to buff afterwards. Whenever Arum is gone, but who knows? We'll
better start making plans now.
Yeah, because now, if you having Crawford start suing you or whatever, like all it takes is more. Like, right now they have the likes of Shakur Stevenson, like, right there, who's probably, like I said, he holds a belt or whatever, like, and pretty much now, he's been supposed to fight Oscar Valdez right now, but for whatever reason,
exactly.
That's another thing.
That's another example.
Like we should be getting Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez, but yet instead, fucking all Arum wants to do is talking about bringing up Emmanuel Navarrete from 126 and having an all Mexican affair at 130. Like, nigga, we don't want to see that shit. That shit would be a fun fight, but I'd rather see Shakur and Valdez for unification. What are we doing?
At least do that one first. It's not, and there's no knock on Navarrete. Navarrete is a talent, is an extreme super.
Like, why can't Navarrete fight the winner though? Wouldn't the winner be a bigger fight anyway? Yeah, Navarrete moving up to fight the winner of Valdez Stevenson, like, you might, because that somebody might throw that on pay-per-view. Let me shut up though.
Yeah.
But you telling me that's not a big fight? It's like, oh my god, like you had to be fucking blind, deaf, dumb on some coon shit to just not see this shit. Like, I can't believe we've even spoke about this so long. Like, if you're not convinced by now, like, I just don't know what to say. Like, you living in a different world. Like,
yeah, I was dying though, because I seen somebody post online that Bob Arum is about to give Shakur the Donald Trump treatment, and you see a video of Donald Trump, like, look, this is my favorite African American in the crowd.
Exactly. Like, come on, like, how y'all not see, like how niggas not see this shit? Like, and that's the thing. Like, I'ma just go ahead and say it. Fuck it, we throwing the gauntlet down. Like, man, justice for Crawford. New hashtag Ring Gang. Justice for Crawford, man. I feel like, look, man, if you a content creator, speak on this shit. Say your piece, man. Like, we need to change this shit. We shouldn't have somebody making a lawsuit like this in this day and age.
Right, yeah, exactly. Like that.
Justice for Crawford, fuck it, man. Let him get a settlement or let him win, but because we know he's right. What's the poll results, man? Before we end this shit, what's the poll results?
Okay, let me go pull that up real quick.
Yeah. I just want to at least bring those up before we jump into this Rolly shit and end this.
Word.
I'm looking at the time and niggas is warming up on the gridiron.
Yeah, so for pretty much we did a poll back 2 days ago, and we said, do you think it was a good idea for Terence Bud Crawford to sue Top Rank? So we have about 30 votes, but there's still 5 days left, so y'all continue to vote. So pretty much we have yes for 46.7%, no 36.7%, and maybe 16.7%. Yeah, 7%.
Okay, so yes is the
yes.
Yeah, yes is the dominant.
No was in the lead at one point.
It was.
Like, what the fuck happened? Y'all woke up on the woke side of the bed today? Like, okay, I was about to shit on boxing Twitter. Like, y'all niggas did all right.
Yeah, and this is one of those legitimate issues where I mean, there is an actual issue. This is not this is not
like, I think people just hate when black people say anything that anytime we're affected by racism or racial bias or whatever the fuck, there's racism. Whenever we're affected by racism, people hate that we gotta call it out. Like, people think we're just reaching or some shit. There's a collective groaning.
It's hilarious because I'm not gonna say this guy's name because one, he's a clown. Two, he doesn't deserve to have his name put out there. But I'm gonna just say it's funny because I went online and I seen him before this whole thing happened. He made up a whole YouTube post on his channel talking about Terence Crawford deserves the great fights. When Spence and Ugas was announced, justice for Crawford. Crawford's career matters. And now all of a sudden, now that he's suing Top Rank, and it's, man, fuck Crawford. Like, if you're still blaming the man in 2022, you know what I'm saying? Get it yourself. You call me a coon, call me whatever. Like, okay, I will call you a fucking coon.
I'll call you a coon, Sambo, Uncle Tom ass nigga. Like, okay,
facts.
I'll call you all of that shit. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you disgust me.
But I mean, and this is the same guy that faked the car accident, so nothing surprises me with this guy. So fuck him. I gave him too much time.
And fuck the motherfuckers for bringing Paulie Malignaggi racist ass to damn talk about George Floyd on a boxing podcast.
Yeah, no, I was gonna save that to the end for any comments below, but I won't get this. Won't be a rant up, but yeah, fuck Paulie for this. Like, Paulie still hasn't learned. Not to, no one wants to hear his fucking leanings, yo. It's like,
honestly,
Pat, we was talking about racism, Pat, and I just threw that in there on some like hit him up shit.
That didn't surprise me. I'm just gonna say this. That didn't surprise me because I know how Paulie is. I think what was more angry to me, and not really angry, but more like side eye for me, was you had Steve Kim and AC Slater fucking doing all
giving him the platform.
And laughing
and enjoying the conversation. Like that shit was just fucking mind blowing. Like, we really what possessed y'all to let this man rant about George Floyd and talk shit about the man and just say some bullshit like and y'all sat through that giggling like some hoes. Like,
it's like,
I mean, Mario Lopez, I want to punch him in his fucking mouth.
He really looks the worst out of this because you kind of I always looked at him as like a guy who was like cool, like he was a celebrity who kind of legit fucked with boxing, so you always kind of like to see that. But then it's like when you see him in certain circles, you're like, damn, dude,
and I was like, yeah. And honestly, truthfully, I hope he does lose some of his acting opportunities because I know dude is out there doing his thing in Hollywood, but I think that he legit needs to lose some roles now. Like, it's time. Fuck him.
Yeah, that was just a bad look. Like, honestly.
Yeah, I think he knew it too, because now all that shit is private now.
He honestly should have just said, you know what? I think this isn't a good look. Like, why don't motherfuckers step up and say something in these situations? Like, motherfuckers is always on some like, nah, if they're poking a dead body with a stick, and that's the thing.
And because some people tried to some people even tried to cover for them, kind of all that. Well, Kim and Slater didn't say anything. It's like they don't have to say anything in a opinion like this. Silence is basically agreeable in this situation.
Yeah,
like you can't fucking just let him say that shit. Like, somebody should have said something.
What's that ancient Chinese parable? No action is action.
Yep.
And y'all niggas snickering and giggling and sitting up there like two high school hoes, like, while this man is going on a racist ass rant, like, and technically y'all didn't do anything. And yeah, like King P said, that's the fucking problem. You didn't do anything.
Yeah, and then probably obviously as long as he's not around any black people, he'll spew all types of nonsense, like, But
damn, I got a picture with this dude, like,
and I've met this dude plenty of times. I shook his hand and everything like that. But like I said, I never was a fan of his yo Jersey Shore shit. Like, nah, get the fuck out of here.
He doubled down on that shit, like through his career. I'm like,
nigga doing this with his fucking Denzel Washington Training Day hairpiece on. Who the fuck you think you fool?
Yeah, like.
That's why it's funny because I seen the rounds showing the old clip of him getting beat the shit out of by Sean Porter, and I'm like, yes, this is music to my ears, music to my eyes. Fuck Paul.
Yeah.
You know what? We might just have to have a damn fuck it. Y'all gonna make me like see damn niggas be getting me on some Tariq Petty shit. Like y'all motherfuckers might get me making a damn Pauly Malignaggi highlight ass whooping video or some shit.
Yes,
like,
he's taking enough of them. Yeah,
like honestly, like y'all really gonna make me get a prolific like good day, mate. Can y'all put that Well, I can't do no UK accent, nigga, but I'm be like, yo. I need a highlight video of Broner, Khan, Hatton, Kodo. Who else?
Eggington.
Edgington.
Yeah, so it's like
I just need a compilation of Pauly Malignaggi ass whoop.
Yeah, well, I mean, or stuff. I mean, even with Judah, even Zab Judah dropping, I mean, all that shit, all his low lights.
You know, put the Kanata. You said Kano, right?
Yeah.
Who else put hands on Pauly? Like,
too many people put fucking hands on it.
Yeah, like I just
no. Put McGregor on that shit.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
with the bare knuckle, like yo, y'all gonna fuck around and see that because I'm kind of like disgusted by dude. But yeah, we just had to talk about that. I know sometimes we touch on shit like that at the end, but we was on the topic of racism and shit, racial bias, and motherfuckers just doing shit because they can,
right?
That's racism in a nutshell. Motherfuckers doing shit because they can,
right?
And if no one steps up to it, then people just gonna keep doing it. So salute to Terence Bud Crawford for taking that step forward and doing something about it, and doing something where you're in a position to do something and not hurt your livelihood, because you could still box and set up and do other shit. You're not still legally tied to this man, so that's
exactly. So the other cut, Eddie, PBC, Golden Boy, he has a title. He has time for about that. So y'all need to make the fights, but I won't go into that because that's a whole nother topic. But we basically just want to make sure that we shed light and we spit bars on this fucked up situation he's going through with Top Rank, and make sure that that it's out there. When we support Terence Crawford for what he's trying to do and what he hopefully gets from this. As well.
You might be affected, or one of your favorite fighters might be affected by the decision, by the outcome of this. So let's all keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best and justice for Crawford.
Yeah, speaking of wishing for the best and justice, it's a good segue to our final